Well, Jill's builder did such a bad job, she's living under a giant tarp. When her complaints fell on deaf ears, she shamed the company.
Good for Halloween, I suppose. I have good days where I try and be positive, and I have the lowest of low. Yeah, I have the lowest.
Single mum Jill Harris is living a nightmare.
They don't care. They don't see it.
What was her home turned into a house of horrors.
Watching television, and when it leaks, it comes through the light fittings, and there's like a waterfall for me to watch television with the buckets in front at the base of the bed, watching the television through the water. Welcome to my extension factory display home.
There are gaping holes, dangling wires, a pigsty left by tradies, and Jill says no end in sight.
I call this the tent. I live in the tent because there is no roof over my room or my son's room.
Desperate, she's done some renos of her own.
How the rich get richer.
This is Jill's front yard in Melbourne's Upper Ferntree Gully. It's become an unwanted billboard for the builder, the extension factory, which Jill says have been paid for this, which is destroying our lives. Her health hazard of a home, a far cry from the company's glossy ads.
Visit extensionfactory.com.au.
I sit up on my desk up there and write signs for what I actually think of them.
And what's the reaction been like from the company, from the extension factory?
Once they got wind of it, they wanted to talk to me. Yeah, they asked me to remove them.
In 2020, Jill hired the extension factory to extend her home and add a second story.
It just went completely wrong from there. They'd built it 160 mil out of square, which we didn't find out till 12 months later.
A catalogue of errors forced the builder to knock it down and start again.
It's in the correct place now. It's taken 4 times to get it here. Started off, they'd put it up there. Then we dropped it down here. Then it was about 100 mil out. The steel was back to front. So they ripped it all down.
Eventually, a building surveyor ordered the extension factory to stop work after builders proceeded with part of the build. Despite the inspector not giving them the go-ahead, it's left Jill feeling like a sitting duck.
Just excuses after excuses, and I'm in the middle.
She does her laundry in the dark and cooks in the hallway.
It's not unusual to have stuff drop off the ceiling, and if you don't catch it, you're ingesting it.
Jill's renovation is now months late. She says she's paid most of the contract.
I have brand new hardwood floors in the new part that I put in. They've started to, just be a little bit manky. The mould here is shocking.
Jill's creative signs have caught the attention of not only her neighbours and passing motorists, but the extension factory's owner, Jerry Hoggard, who admits things have gone wrong.
It certainly was an error of building. It was built out of square. We accepted responsibility and took it down. Oh, look, I know what she's living through.
While Mr. Jerry Hoggard, who owns the company, sits in his two-rack mansion, I sit in a homemade swimming pool, and it's not right.
Obviously, I don't like my name. We've been in the game for 43 years. I don't like it being treated that way, but I can appreciate that she's upset about what's transpired.
Mr. Hoggard pins some of the blame on Jill and her brother Ashley, a former worker at the extension factory who was partly involved in her renovation.
I can sympathise with her, but she was told initially by email to Ashley to vacate. Ashley said, no, it's not going to happen, to whoever in here. And it's not the sort of job that you would leave anybody occupying the premises.
At the very beginning, when the contract was signed, there was no mention of anything for me to vacate the premises at all.
Extension factory insiders say Jill's case isn't an isolated one. Several former customers tell us they also endured horror builds, one man claiming to have suffered a heart attack from the stress.
People that used to work here who've spoken to us say that it's all about the money. You don't really care about the homes.
That is wrong.
So, where to from here for Jill? It all rests with the building surveyor who ordered the extension factory to down tools. When we contacted the surveyor, Steve Maloney from Castle Cane, he blamed the owners and their builders' non-compliance with the building legislation.
Just give me my home back. Give me back my home. Like, what I had even, give it back. At least I had a life then. I don't have one now.
The surveyor says the stop works order will not be cancelled until Jill's resolved the building issues with the extension factory, which means she's left in limbo. We will keep across any developments.